Deep in the confines of the Edgeville dungeon, a giant hill giant lurks. Get your hands on a giant key and take on Obor, the hill giant boss. How's it going, everybody? I'm Lewis and we've got a new update from the Old School RuneScape team. This is the hill giant boss. If you want to fight the hill giant boss, you've got to get yourself a giant key. These are dropped by all of the hill giants in Old School RuneScape, and it's available to both members and free-to-play. Once you've found a hill giant boss, go to the hill giant area in Edgeville dungeon, and there'll be a door to Obor's lair on the western wall. If you're going to fight Obor, make sure you are prepared. He's got various different attacks, unlike his regular hill giant counterparts, and he's going to throw you all around his lair. And be careful, because his entire lair is instants, and there's no way for you to retrieve your items if you lose them on death. So, now we know he's a little bit difficult to kill. Why would you kill him? Well, they've added one very interesting unique drop to his table, and that is the Hill Giant Club. He's got a very slim chance of dropping this Hill Giant Club, and it's the best in slot crush weapon for free to play, requiring level 40 attack to equip. It's got a -4 stab attack, a +50 slash attack, a +65 crush attack, a -4 magic attack, a -1 range defense, and a +70 melee strength bonus. So it's very interesting to see that we're getting a nice bit of free-to-play content. It's going to shake up the PKing scene a little bit, but hopefully the item will be worth a little bit of money because it is the best in slot, and it's not going to be particularly common. Therefore, in free-to-play, hopefully it'll provide a very nice money-making method, and maybe when you compare it to members' methods, they're not really going to be that bothered about it. Maybe at the start of this update, but not in a couple of weeks' time. Moving on to the seasonal Deadman changes. First of all, trading enabled. They decided to disable trading, apart from the Grand Exchange, to lessen the impacts of swapping and make teaming a lot harder. However, they've seen very little in the way that people are playing, and seeing as the benefits of disabling trading aren't actually there, they've decided to completely remove it and enable trading again. I think it's a bit of a shame. I was hoping that the disabled trading would actually have a good benefit, but if they're not seeing any changes, then I suppose it's fair enough and they can enable it again. The next change is the 6-hour immunity enabled. People are progressing quickly in Deadman mode, and some people, especially at the start of Deadman mode, are really far behind, and it's impossible for them to actually try and catch up with the players who started a little bit earlier. You could argue that because they started earlier, then they should have a better advantage. However, you want an interesting PvP environment. Everyone should have a nice, similar level to make it interesting. So, to help out people starting in Deadman mode, they've reinstated the 6-hour immunity for players who have just started in the new season. And finally, the last little change in Deadman seasonals is the worlds have been reverted. They made a lot of worlds Deadman on that last update, and now they've reverted 311, 312, 313, 319, 320, 321, 357 and 359, which are mostly German worlds, 2 American worlds and 1 British world. And in fact, 357 is actually a world I go on quite a lot, so it's quite nice to see it come back to a regular old school world, because I just play standard old school RuneScape. Next, the Wintertodt drop table changes. The Wintertodd's been out for a couple of weeks now, and they've been monitoring its effects on the items it drops. Obviously, if you've been looking at the effects of the prices, they have all skyrocketed down. So it's not a skyrocket, it's like a ground rocket. It's not really a rocket, it's just regular gravity. Anyway, they've gone down, and they've gone down significantly. So to address this, what have they done? They've decided to make it a little bit more balanced, but still profitable. Your rewards from your supply crates will now be determined by your levels in the skills used to kill the Wintertodt. So if you've got a high farming level, you'll receive better seed drops. If you have a high crafting level, you'll receive better gem drops. And the same goes for mining and ores, fishing and fish, etc. So really all these changes will mean that the Wintertodt will still be incredibly lucrative, but more for people that have the higher levels. If you've just got the minimum levels to kill the Wintertodt, you can still get rewards, and they will be quite good. However, they won't be as good as if you've got high levels in the skills used to kill the Wintertodt. I think this is very fair. I mean, if you think about the Wintertodt being the first skilling boss ever introduced to Old School RuneScape and RuneScape as a whole, then obviously there's going to be a few teaming issues that they're going to have with it. Something that a PVM boss will have that the Wintertodt doesn't is the fact that you need to be at high level to kill it. You only need 55 making to actually go to the Wintertodt, which is an incredibly easy skill level to get. So hopefully that has balanced it out nicely. I was a little bit concerned, especially when it first came out. Finally, we've got the other news and the bug fixes. The colour of your opponent's levels on the Duel Arena setup interface will change based on your own levels. The last destination option on the fairy rings will now display the last fairy code used. Full sets of the Pyromancer outfit can be exchanged with Ignitia for a supply crate, which provides 4 loot rolls. The Duel Arena confirmation page shows more information about the duel settings. The fairy ring code AIR no longer has repeated options. The fire cape texture has been improved, so seams are less visible, something I'm somewhat concerned with because obviously that is such an iconic item. Critical PvP hit splats can now show how much damage was dealt, even if it's more than the target player's remaining HP. This does not affect how much damage or XP is actually rewarded. Rock cakes and explosive dig site liquids can now hit through the absorption potion in Nightmare Zone. Selecting the combat dummies in the construction skill guide now displays the material required. Talking to various NPCs in A Tale of Two Cats and Icrion's Little Helper quests, while other pets are visible, displays the correct dialogue. Damage caps on the tridents have been increased by 1, so it can respect the maximum possible magic stat boost from the imbued heart. And finally, the goblins underneath Lumbridge no longer transport players in combat on seasonal Deadman worlds. So this week's update seems very interesting. I'd say it's quite small, however, having a free-to-play boss come into the game is massive. The changes to Deadman are, they're fairly small, but hopefully they will help. And the Wintertodt drop changes, they feel small, but hopefully will have a good impact on the economy. If you want to discuss this update, please go on the forums or do so in my comments below. Click here if you want to watch my video on the latest Old School RuneScape update, Duel Arena improvements. And if you want to watch my video on the latest Old School RuneScape poll, please click here for the Orion altar. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and share, and if you want to keep up to date with the Old School RuneScape updates, devlogs and polls, please subscribe. I've been Lewis, thanks for watching, goodbye.